And we are live. What's up, everyone? It's live with Kenny. I had some technical difficulties. Started the new year already effing up, but okay, it's fine. I think I got everything under control. Without further ado, I hope you guys had a wonderful Merry Christmas. I know I did. I hope you guys enjoyed time with your family. I hope this new year is as good as it's. I hope it's the best year so far for you, all of you guys, and I wish you all a happy new year. Without further ado, as usual, we'll get right into the teeth of the story. Mike Johnson laid out his mission after being elected House Speaker. The people want an American First agenda. And throughout this reaction, as I'm giving you guys the news about how Mike Johnson became Speaker of the House, I got videos up for you guys. I want to kind of lay out the groundwork of exactly how the Democrats embarrass themselves. And I know that many people are not excited for Mike Johnson, but he is the practical choice. Like, end of the day, we don't like, oh, Mike Johnson was able to become Speaker of the House on the first pitch. And I think one of the reasons why Mike Johnson ended up becoming Speaker is that he's the most practical choice. Like, there was no one else, there's no alternative. Donald Trump already put in his endorsement behind Mike Johnson. And I think that starting off the new Congress with chaos would not do us any favors at this point in time. So I'm going to give Mike Johnson opportunity. I'm gonna give him a chance to see if he can back up his statements that he had listed out right here. So without further ado, I'll give you some of his commentary after he's been elected the Speaker of the 119th Congress. So let's get into it.
And as heirs to the American Revolution and the descendants of patriots who defied tyranny, in the coming months, we are going to pass legislation to roll back the totalitarian fourth branch of government known as the administrative state. We're going to drastically cut back the size and scope of government. We're going to return the power back to the people. And in coordination with President Trump and his administration, we are going to create a leaner, faster, and more efficient federal workforce. We need to do that. Our people do not deserve to be ruled by millions of bureaucrats they've never voted for, never met, and can never hold accountable.
And that's exactly the point. I think this is so far so good. No, he's saying all the right things. Everyone's going to wait for what he's going to do, right? Because Kevin McCarthy said all the right things, and everyone found out he was double speaking. So Mike Johnson has an opportunity here to really solidify his support with the American people, with Donald Trump. And I think the most important part will be getting Trump's cabinet picks in as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I know all of you guys are waiting for how the hell does Democrats embarrass themselves, but first I want to give Mike Johnson his victory speech, and then I'll backtrack leading up to him winning his speakership all over again, leading up to how Democrats were sitting here embarrassing themselves, starting with Kamala Harris forgetting the Pledge of Allegiance to a congresswoman disrupting the Congress, saying, "Why are you not letting territories vote for Speaker of the House?" Because they want to make a scene. We'll get into that later, but let's wrap up this clip here with Mike Johnson.
They deserve a government that is led by those they've elected to lead. That is how Article 1 is supposed to work. That was the idea of the Congress, and we will return to that principle. The American people have called on us to reject business as usual and throw out the status quo. We must and we will heed their call.
Exactly. So let's get into the shenanigans. All right, people say they don't believe him until he actually does it, until he backs up what he says, which is, pretty much correct. So let's go with Kamala Harris, our favorite vice president, right? And it's baffling how this woman, Kamala Harris, was a heartbeat away from the presidency, right? And many people say we as Americans should be embarrassed that she was even able to be vice president. What a joke. Kamala gets torched after Pledge of Allegiance failed. What an embarrassment to this country. Vice President Kamala Harris was torched by social media users on Friday after video surfaced of her presiding over the U.S. Senate and scrambling for words to the Pledge of Allegiance. In several clips posted on X from the swearing-in ceremony for the new senators, Harris could be seen standing up and placing her hand over her heart as she calls on the member of Senate to join her in saying the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. While the first few words go smoothly with her reciting, "I pledge allegiance," that's as far as she gets before she messes up. and I don't want to, mess up the your surprise. So let me just jump straight into the video that I have prepped, and then we can react together about how the hell you mess up the Pledge of Allegiance, right? And this doesn't bode well for Kamala Harris, right? I ain't gonna lie to you guys. The first public appearance we seen of her in a long time, and she messes up. She messes up the Pledge of Allegiance, something that we've been taught since young to recite. And you, sitting government official who's been in the public, who's been working in government all her working career, and you cannot recite the Pledge of Allegiance, but you wanted to be president of the United States. Yeah, okay. And then they want to get mad when we call Kamala Harris DEI, a DEI candidate. She's not helping her case. So this is, step one of how Democrats embarrass themselves. So without further ado, I'll get into the clip.
Oh, man.
Please join me in pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she didn't do too bad. She just messed up the little first part. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. That's what she messed up for. And everyone's just bashing her. Hey, she was one heartbeat away from the presidency, right? Not a good way to start off, right? And then leading up to the votes, and this is where most of my commentary is going to be centered around. Leading up to the votes, you had Democrats using this as an opportunity to grandstand. And sorry, I misquoted you guys. And Mike Johnson lost the first go around for votes. The second vote here, Democratic Congresswoman, I forgot her name already, but you can see the picture of her right here. She makes a scene and utterly embarrasses herself. And I'll commentate as we react to this.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from the Virgin Islands seek recognition?
Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry. I note that the names of the representatives from the Americas Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the District of Columbia were not called, representing collectively 4 million Americans.
So, no, territories are not allowed to vote in our elections, guys. That's how it's going to be. You're a territory, not a state. You're not part of the United States. It's not the United Territories of America. And this is the kind of crap that Democrats continually embarrass themselves in my eyes. Because we all know why y'all doing this. We all know why you want us to recognize these territories as voting blocks, as representatives of the House, as representatives of the American government, because you know it's to your advantage. It's the same thing with illegal immigration. The reason why a lot of Democrats are against deportation, mass deportation, all that stuff, because they know they benefit from voting laws, right? Most Americans support photo ID. The issue isn't controversial. 84% support. But why does every single bill that is brought up to Democrats in Congress to solidify that rule and make our elections secure or require identification for them to vote? Why do they reject it outright? You got Californian government officials coming out and saying, no, we don't want to require voting ID. In California, you're allowed to vote in the state election without any identification. But if you want to go on the airplane, you want to drive a car, you need identification. But to vote, something they consider more important than driving, than flying out of the country, you don't need any identification to vote. Make it make sense. Everything is always to the political benefit of the Democratic Party. And this is how they continue embarrassing themselves. This is the second part of how they embarrass themselves. You're going to say, oh, we need to recognize these territories. No. Simple question, no. And they're clapping like something important happened. Like, What are you guys doing? Grandstanding, political show, political theater. Tired of it. Tired of it.
Mr. Speaker, collectively, the largest per capita of veterans in this country.
Does the gentlelady have a
I
parliamentary
asked
inquiry?
why they were not called. Have some respect. It's not going to take.
Gentlelady is recognized.
I asked why they were not called from the parliamentarian, please.
Delegates-elect and the resident commissioner-elect are not qualified to vote. Representatives-elect are the only individuals qualified to vote in the election of a speaker.
Yes.
As provided in Section 36 of the House Rules and Manual, the speaker is elected by a majority of the members-elect voting by surname.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This body and this nation has a territories and a colonies problem. What was supposed to be temporary has now effectively become permanent. We must do something about this problem so that these 4 million.
Like who does this show benefits? Does it benefit the American people, really? Right? Mike Johnson, first round, he didn't get enough votes to become speaker. This is them trying to make a second round to vote him in. Now you already know, spoiler alert, he still became speaker. I just forget how many rounds. He gave a good speech. Hey, government bureaucracy, want to cut down federal bureaucracy. We want people to be accountable to the American people. Mike Johnson said all the good stuff. Democrats come out here. Kamala Harris messed up the Pledge of Allegiance. Then you got this congresswoman wanting a grandstand to get her little 5 minutes of fame. And for what? For what? All of it's for political ends. All of it just to make Democrats look good. But to me, this is embarrassing.
But I have a voice. And
This is embarrassing, bro. No. Like, it's just a show, bro. Like, this is a show. Like, what's the purpose of that? Democrats are so anti-American. Their vice president, the person they elected to run against Donald Trump, couldn't recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Everything Democrats do, they seem to vote against the best interests of the American people, right? Majority of Americans want voter ID in voting places in order to vote. Democrats, every time the legislation has been brought up, they shoot it down every single time. They unanimously, I can't speak today. They unilaterally vote against it. Why? Political ends. They know they benefit if illegals are allowed to vote. They know disproportionately illegals vote for the Democratic Party. And her grandstanding keeps making me remember that point. Yeah, you benefit politically, Democrat, from having illegals vote in the election, having people without voter ID vote in our election. Now, here's the most embarrassing part. It's when when Discount Obama, when Bootleg Obama, Hakeem Jeffries is his other name that he's known by. But when Bootleg Obama here, he's going to start grandstanding, and the Democrats have not learned their lesson, right? The Democrats have not learned their lesson. This Bootleg Obama is going to sit here and lecture them saying, oh, we have no election deniers on our side. Like we don't got the internet. Like we don't got clips all over the internet of him himself denying the legitimacy of Donald Trump during the 2016 administration. Make it make sense. But this is Democrats for you. Grandstand. In the back of your mind, they know liberal media is not going to point out their hypocrisy. But too bad for them on social media, it's fair game. So here's 42 minutes of Hakeem Jeffries looking like an idiot. This, to me, out of everything that happened, out of Kamala Harris messing up the Pledge of Allegiance, out of that lady, I forgot her name, grandstanding, this is the most embarrassing clip, in my view.
There are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. Seems to me that there's a cloud of illegitimacy that continues to hang over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and that patriotic Americans have a responsibility to try to figure out what the heck happened in terms of the malignant tumor that seemed to have been embedded in that 2016 campaign. What did the president know?
Regular order.
When did he know it?
Regular
And
order.
how do we prevent
Regular
this
order.
type of
It's regular
malignant
order. The
activity
gentleman is-
from happening?
What an embarrassing. Oh, we don't got election deniers on our side. Hakeem Jeffries, 2025. There's no election deniers on our side. Hakeem Jeffries, 2019. There's a cloud of illegitimacy that continues to hang over Trump's White House. Right? Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. There's no election deniers on our side. 24 minutes of Democrats denying election results. Should I play the clip?
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's a
That's
real
what I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
Hakeem, what you say again?
You can run the best campaign.
Hakeem, you said what? There's no election deniers on your side. What?
That George W. Bush did not win this election.
What I observed as a voter, as a citizen of Illinois 4 years ago, were troubling evidence of the fact that not every vote was being counted.
I don't think that George W. Bush won the election in 2000.
Wait, Hakeem.
2 months ago, the American people elected Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States of America. Thank you for that very generous applause. It's okay. There are no election deniers on our side of the aisle. You see, one should love America. One should love America when you win and when you lose. That's the patriotic thing to do, and that's the America that House Democrats will fight hard to preserve because
So this is how Democrats embarrass themselves. We all know what y'all trying to do.
I guess they'll go because I think he probably lost Florida and also that nationwide.
The original election deniers were the Democrats Party. The original election deniers were the Democratic Party. I repeat that again. When Democrats don't get their way, historically, Republicans end up dead, prosecuted, sent to jail, indicted, lawfare. Bro, come on. Democrats, this is your MO. The Trump hush money thing got appealed. Now y'all want to put them in jail. Come on. Y'all want to take Republicans off of ballots. Come on, Democrats. But what Discount Obama said, on the Democratic side, we don't deny elections. BS.
If you invite me back on this show in about 8 weeks, I think you're going to learn that Al Gore actually did get all the votes there.
I felt what happened in Florida was a carefully worked out conspiracy. That many things could not go wrong.
That many things can't go wrong. But when we say it, oh no, it has to be true.
Constituents, many of whom may have been disenfranchised in this process.
Treating today's electoral vote count in Congress as a meaningless ritual would be an insult to our democracy unless we registered our own protest against the obviously flawed voting process that took place in so many of our states.
It's so interesting to hear these guys. Like, all you have to do is just look through history, bro. And that should be the most embarrassing. But you think Legacy Media is going to point this out? Nope. And this is why they're losing. This is why they don't have any trust. And TYT, you know it's bad when TYT is even acknowledging stuff. Anna Kasparian resonates with a quote about being red-pilled gradually. I never read a quote that resonated with me more than this one. So here, I'm going to play the clip of her reading it, and then we're going to move on to the next story, as I think I already laid out in these 20 minutes how exactly the Democrats embarrass themselves, Mike Johnson winning the speakership, Why Mike Johnson win the speakership? So I think it's very fitting to end it with a take from Anna Kasparian about being red pilled of the Democrats and their little facade, and this idea that they always try to present themselves as morally superior to the other party when you can count out on your hand, okay, the reason why you're against voting ID is because it benefits you politically. You know, statistically, the bounds of probabilities, illegals are going to vote in your favor. This is why you're against it. But then they pretend, oh no, we want disabled people and veterans to have an ability to get an photo ID. This is why we go against voter requirement laws, ID laws, voter ID laws. Yeah, okay.
I've never read a quote that resonated with me more than this one does. So I'm going to read it. Okay. So you don't get red pilled overnight. It's the issues that affect your everyday life first, and then you connect them with people, and then you connect it with a party. That is so true, and that is what I was trying to get across to people. When you're affected day to day by quality of life issues, and all you hear from the Democratic Party is shut up, no, it's not happening, and if it's happening, it's not that big of a deal. Man, that really does red pill people. It builds resentment toward the party. And I really think that Democrats need to pivot away from that, because they're gonna keep losing if they think that that type of treatment of voters, that type of disrespect toward voters is gonna get them anywhere.
And in 2025, what Hakeem Jeffries just did. There's no election deniers on our side. Kenny proceeds to play a 25-minute clip or pieces of a 25-minute clip highlighting how they denied elections, how Hakeem Jeffries himself claimed that Donald Trump was illegitimate. And then these are the same people who want to grandstand and moralize to you. This is how out of touch the Democratic Party is. The Democrats are so out of touch. Like, look, it goes back to the point, right? Disgraceful decision. Trump press secretary blasts Biden move to block more offshore drilling, right? Which is one of Trump's campaign promises. I don't understand how, when we lose elections, we are for Americans and we will support whoever it is in office. Yeah, okay. But here's your guy. Rest assured, Joe Biden will fail and will drill, baby, drill. President Joe Biden was blasted by incoming Trump press secretary after Bloomberg reported that the president plans to ban new offshore oil and gas development in some areas of the U.S. coast within days. This man, Biden is literally going out, not sad, but literally going out as he's trying to take out as much people. He's trying to tank as many people's campaigns as possible at this point. And it just highlights to you this whole climate change like garbage that they keep trying to push. And because these are the reasons why Democrats say, we're against oil. When if you don't have an abundance of energy, oil is the most cost-effective energy source that you have available. And the funny part about this is the climate change, when they get hit with facts that goes against this narrative that they try to perpetrate, you see in real time how they try to deny the facts, how they try to obfuscate it, how they try to downplay it, how they try to ignore or somehow cast doubt on it. Because this is one of the reasons why Biden is stopping Donald Trump from drilling. Because that's his excuse. We're just trying to protect the environment. Oil contributes to global warming. When you look at stats of global warming, there's no correlation with the world getting hotter with oil, with our production of oil. Biden's expected move comes after he faced pressure from Democrats and left-wing environmentalists to block offshore drilling before President Trump takes office on January 20th. Trump has promised to increase Americans' energy production and makes it easier for oil and gas companies to drill in U.S. waters and on American land. Make us energy independent. Make us less reliant on Russia. Make us less reliant on other people. And it's one of the things that I think I would want a lot from the American First agenda that Trump is trying to push, is that America becomes more of a producer than a consumer. Right now, where we're at right now, we're a consumer of oil when we could be a producer of oil. For what? Some arbitrary reasons, from arbitrary narrative about how we're going to make the climate hotter. When there's no correlation between oil production and the global warming. Carbon emissions, humans are only contributing to 0.004% of carbon emissions in the world, depending on which country you put out. The people who emit the most carbon is China, India. Why y'all not talking to them? So you want us to import our oil from Russia, India, China, some other country instead of purchasing it ourselves, making us dependent on another country. The same way that a lot of these tech companies say that they're dependent on foreign workers to get stuff done. Why can't we make it in-house? And it may be more expensive, but in the long term, we're more self-sustaining that way. I don't understand this attitude. But these are the arbitrary reasons. Like this is the kind of pseudoscience all these left-wing environmentalists, all these Democrats want to stop oil for. Let's take a look at this 1-minute clip.
If we don't make this plan, if we don't put a plan in place by 2030, there is no plan to deal with catastrophic wildfires.
All those are less. All those, the extremes of weather, and except for heat, the IPCC, I've got the document there if you want, and I can tell you the reference to it.
And these are the climate bodies.
Well, let me just give you some facts.
Go on.
IPCC state, page 1856, the latest AR6 report, table 1212, that no more extreme droughts due to mankind, no more floods due to mankind, no more... I can go on right the way down.
This is the IPCC.
You're living in a dream world. If you think you've just denied the IPCC, yet you people... I
have not denied the IPCC.
See, and this is the problem with climate change. This is why I say climate change is a religion. Climate change is a figment of the left's imagination. Climate change is nothing more than a perception that they're trying to sell to populations, to nations around the world to justify giving them more control over your life. To me, it's a Trojan horse. Climate change is a Trojan horse to give power and control to your government. All these, we want to do solar. Okay, nuclear is more cost effective than solar, and it's cleaner if you want to go by the clean energy statement. So why are we not going with nuclear? Oh, your friends that are invested in the solar way of doing things won't get any money if we do it nuclear, huh? Political. It's always political. But they want to sit here and grandstand. Oh, I'm trying to protect the world. I'm trying to save the world. Nah. You got a conflict of interest in there, bro. And you're just trying to hide it. At least be upfront about it. At least tell it, okay, this is why you would want an electric car. It's the best car, not because it's an electric car. That's the philosophy if you want people to adopt something. But no, you want to gaslight, moralize, and then you're going to stop the other guy. You're going to stop the other president. Biden's going to stop Trump over some pseudoscience when there's no correlation of it creating more wildfires, creating more floods. Hell, even the heat, the global warming. Oh my God, global warming. You know how we produce way more. You know we produce way more oil and gas 20, 30, 40 years ago. And last year, 2 years ago, 2023, it was the hottest year ever. Make it make sense. While we produce less energy than we did 40 years ago. But somehow stopping offshore drilling is to stop climate change. Okay, yeah, okay.
You see, you've misrepresented them.
I don't think he has, and he wouldn't be allowed to. We'd scrutinise that. He's given you data.
Right.
So you've just thrown away a report from the climate department, the climate group who look after...
No, anyone at home, look up IPCC increased flooding. You can make your own mind up.
No, let me explain how that happens.
But no, let me explain. Okay. New oil and gas is an existential threat to the people in this country. It means social collapse. It means wildfires.
It means none of those things.
And crop.
When you actually look at the facts and why the IPCC political body says all this rubbish, they don't agree with their own scientists. And what you've just thrown away is typical. You won't debate the science, you won't debate the facts, and you just want to disrupt people. And I'm telling you now, you wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have your mobile phone.
Exactly. These people just want to control how you live your life, bro. That's the reality, bro. This is the reality of Democrats. This is the reality of leftists. They just want to control your life, bro. Now we got to talk about Trump real quick. I'm going to segue to Trump. Trump has lost his appeal for the hush money case, and I believe that they want to put him in trial. And I want to give some statements, some PowerPoints that's listed out by this by this Twitter user. CNN senior legal analyst describes how Trump's conviction was a political hit job. The judge donated money in plain violation of rules prohibiting a New York judge from making political contributions to a pro-Trump, anti-Trump political operations. Alvin Bragg boasted on the campaign trail in overwhelmingly Democratic county. It is a fact that I have sued Donald Trump over 100 times. Most importantly, the DA charged Trump pushes the outer limits of law and due process. The charges against Trump are obscure and nearly entirely unprecedented. In fact, no state prosecutor in New York, Wyoming, or anywhere has ever charged federal election laws as a direct or predicate state law against anyone for anything. None ever. Like, imagine state governments are trying to charge someone on a federal crime. Make it make sense. The DA inflated misdemeanors past the statute of limitation and electroshocked them back to life by alleging the falsification of the business record was committed with intent to commit another crime. This is how they got him on the fraud case, right? Inexcusably, the DA refused to specify what those unlawful means were, and justice declined to force them to pony up until right before closing arguments. So much for the constitutional obligations to provide notice to the defendant of the accusations against them in an advanced trial. Make it make sense. This is a witch hunt, bro. This is a witch hunt. And they wonder why no one in this country respects the 34 counts on Trump. In these key respects, the charges against Trump aren't just unusual. They're brief-spoken, seemingly crafted individually for the former president and no one else. The Manhattan DA employees reportedly have called this the zombie case because of the various legal infirmities, including its bizarre charging mechanism, but it's better characterized as the Frankenstein case, cobbled together with ill-fitted parts into an ugly, awkward, but more or less functioning contraction that just might ultimately turn on its creator. All to get Trump. And then they wonder why people don't respect January 6th. They wonder why people don't respect the fact that George Manchin ordered President Trump to be sentenced on January 10th in New York hush money case. Make it make sense. Trump gets sentenced. Convicted felon cannot be president. Trump should not show up, pardon himself. This is political targeted lawfare. No reason to give this credibility. This is how I'm saying Democrats are embarrassing themselves, right? From DEI to all, like, it's just disgraceful at this point. Joe Biden clearly wants higher gas prices to be his legacy. This is a disgraceful decision designed to exact political revenge on the American people who gave Donald Trump a mandate to increase drilling and lower gas prices. Levette said in a statement shared with the Daily Wire, rest assured, Joe Biden will fail and will drill, baby, drill. Bloomberg reported that Biden's executive order will be based on the 1953 law that gave the president power to permanently stop offshore drilling in the U.S. and U.S. waters without explicitly giving presidents the power to revoke oil drilling bans enacted by their predecessors. The law, titled the Outer Continental Shelf Land Law, gives the federal government jurisdiction over the outer continental shelves and puts the Department of Interior in charge of leasing sections of the submerged land for oil and gas development, doing everything in its power to stop this guy. And this is how Democrats are embarrassing themselves. They're saying they're for Americans, they're for the American people, but, like, can I continue showing you more? Trump says Dems are giddy about American flags being flown at half-staff during our inauguration. Let's see how it play out. Trump calls out Democrats on Friday, saying that they are giddy about the American flag being flown at half-staff on inauguration day due to President Jimmy Carter's death. A proclamation signed in 1954 calls for flags to be flown at half-mast for 30 days after the death of a sitting or former president. Carter died at his home in Georgia on December 29th, meaning the flag won't be raised to full staff until the sunset of January 28th, more than a week after Trump is sworn into office. This is some ghoulish stuff. This is what I'm talking about. Don't fall for the political show of the Democratic Party. Democrats are all about show. They want to look like they're doing good. They don't want to look like they're governing effectively. But when you look at the outcomes of all the policy they push, you find out how much rubbish it is. When Gavin Newsom's grandstanding about how he's contributing $24 billion to fix homelessness, then you realize homelessness increased 18% around the nation, and you found out that California was the state with the biggest increase in homelessness, even though they contribute the most money towards homelessness. You start figuring out that these people don't know what they're doing. They're just pretending they're doing something. This is why I say, they just need a day where Democrats just lose more and more power, because they won't wake up until they lose political power. That's the only way Democrats will wake up to the mess and the nonsense that they're doing. Trump went out on Truth Social that they think is so great and so happy about it because in actuality, they don't love our country. They only think about themselves. Did Trump lie? I don't think Trump's lying. This is the truest statement I heard about the Democrats. They don't love their country. They only think about themselves, their power. Think about all the grandstanding I just showed you. Think about how Hakeem Jeffries, a.k.a. Bootleg Obama, sat there and said, we don't have any election deniers on our side, pretending that they're the bigger party, they're the bigger person, they're the more virtuous people. And then all you got to do is roll the clip. 6 years ago, Hakeem Jeffries, 2019, you said that Trump was illegitimate. We can go further. 2004, you got Nancy Pelosi still saying that George Bush didn't win. 2000, you got Democrats coming out saying George Bush didn't win. 2018, you got Stacey Abrams saying that she didn't lose her election in Georgia. This is the Democratic Party for you. And then Anna Kasparian is waking up to the fact that she said, yo, this is the truest quote I ever heard in my life. And this is why she tried to warn the Democrats. Yo, y'all getting exposed. Y'all getting exposed. Nope, they don't care because they still think that the mainstream media got their back. Liberals got their back. Oh, we're going to get a new Joe Rogan. Not realizing that Joe Rogan by himself gets more viewership than CNN, MSNBC, and sometimes NBC combined. Look what they have done to our once great country over the last 4 years. It's a total mess. In an event, because of the death of Jimmy Carter, the flag may be, for the first time ever during an inauguration of a future president, be at half-mast, he added. Nobody wants to see this, and no Americans can be happy about it. Let's see how it plays out. Make America great again. Democrats, y'all something else, bro. I can't get over this. I can't get over the fact that these people are happy that, oh, yes, something happened that's inconveniencing Trump. People with this much hate in their heart, bro, they should not be allowed to lead a country, right? I don't want to keep beating a dead horse at this point, but it's been a slow news day. Not a lot of stuff going on, but I want to highlight here what I wanted to highlight. I'm trying to find it. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Another thing I've been trying to highlight is the fact that the Democrats and the mainstream media keep trying to put up this narrative that Trump is inheriting a good economy. In what la land world are they talking about, guys? Right? And it's so convenient how when Biden's economy is doing good, right? This is how hypocritical these people are. It takes decades before social change, before economic stuff happens. Okay. When Trump came in 2016, y'all said it was Obama's economy. But Obama himself said when Trump was making the estimate, hey, I can create all these jobs. Obama retorted and said, I don't know what kind of magic wand you have. Obama implying that he wasn't sure that the 2019 economy would be what it was at the time. But y'all want to try to give credit to Obama when Obama himself couldn't see the results of his, make it make sense. These people don't make any damn sense. But COVID happened during Trump's administration, but that's all Trump's fault though. Okay. But when Biden's economy, which is the framing that the media try to push out, that, oh, Biden's economy is booming, you don't give any credit to Trump. These people are not consistent of how they apply their standards. And that's one of the number one things that piss me off about the liberal media. And I think this is why a lot of people don't trust the liberal media. Right? And I've been talking about this, that I recovered this before. How bad is the economy they're handing Trump? The Philly Fed, which is Philadelphia Fed, is flagging another 653,000 fake jobs on top of the 818,000 BLS revisioned away last year. Of course, left-wing media will blame it all on Trump. This is the game. This is the game of narratives that they keep continually trying to play. And honestly, it started to piss me off. It started to piss me off, guys. I know I complain about this a lot, but it's starting to piss me off. So, for the last story, I want to kind of talk. I know I've been hampering on the Democrats' hypocrisy, but I really can't stand these people because these people would want to grandstand, right? They want to show how much better they are than you. They're such a better human being than you. Oh, we only tell the truth. We're not biased. We're objective. But every time you try to call these people to be objective, they cannot be objective. They just can't. It's not in their DNA. And they get mad when they get labeled liberal, like when people say, "Oh, you have a liberal bias." Oh, the mainstream media is biased. They hate that. They hate the fact that Americans don't trust them anymore, and they have their own self to blame. You got people out here making money off the fact that they're selling racism as DEI. Make it make sense, right? They're surprised they lost half their audience. They don't know why. It's a very crude way of thinking about things, right? They push narratives, right? Since 1959, over 100,000 more white people have lost their lives to black people than black people have lost to whites, right? But what kind of narrative do they spin in our society? Oh, white supremacy is a big problem in our society, but who all these terrorist attacks are going on right now? Perception. A large amount of unarmed black men are being shot by police in the United States of America. Reality, only 11 unarmed black men were fatally shot by police in 2021. BLM was based on a false premise. Anyone who continues to support them is at best misinformed, and at worst, lying for social clout or political reasons. This is the Democratic Party. This is leftists. This is liberals. This is why a part of me say I don't trust black liberals anymore. I don't trust black liberals as far as I can see them, because I see them nothing more than disingenuous people trying to deceive me into believing a narrative that is not really true. They want to talk about DEI. Oh, we need DEI to level the playing field. But when you point out examples of how white people are being discriminated based on their skin color, they're quiet because they're hypocrites. They're not about doing good in society. They're about gaining power, gaining political power. Everyone's tired of it. Everyone's tired of it. Everybody. So I want to end off this live stream because there's not much going on. I don't have much to talk about, but I want to highlight this video about political racism. And I believe this is what the Democrats practice, right? What is political racism? Essentially, you apply a different standard based on the political affiliation of someone. Now, it's not really racism. It's just being political, right? But I like this kind of wordplay that this guy is going to start speaking about some of the hypocrisy about how Democrats, how leftists, they react to things. And this is how tribal the left is. And I know the left hates it when they get called out on their tribalism, but it has to be done. So I want to play this 4-minute segment as a good way to end off the live stream. And then I'll end it off with my final thoughts. So this is how Democrats continuously expose their hypocrisy.
Was Oprah dumb when she was hanging out with that racist? Was Whoopi Goldberg dumb when she was hanging out with that racist? So when did he become a racist? When they told you he was. Was he a racist? And was he a problem for Hillary Clinton when he stood up at Chelsea Clinton's wedding? When he was golfing with Bill Clinton for years? Make it make sense. Oh, and again, this is not me advocating for Donald Trump, but I need to give you an example that you cannot argue. People are upset because Donald Trump's a racist because he took out an $85,000 ad in the newspapers against the Exonerated Five, formerly known as the Central Park Five. Right? That's a
Black liberals love to bring the Central Park 5 stuff up. And I was like, Trump was a Democrat when that happened, right? And the funny part is, it happened in New York. Last time I checked, New York was still a blue state. Still was a blue city. Everybody and their mama was agreeing with Donald Trump, but you want to forget that part, though. And that's why I'm saying, if you know your history, if you can look back and you can see, you're going to be like, yo, when did everyone start hating Trump? When the institutions told you to. This is why I said when a lot of people say, when a lot of black people, sometimes I make this joke, when a lot of black people come to me and they say, oh, I don't like Donald Trump. I'm like, what reasons you don't like Donald Trump? Because someone told you not to like Donald Trump, or because the Democrats say you shouldn't like Donald Trump? People, and this is the common tactic that the left tends to do. They tend to demonize someone, characterize someone as evil, bad, and if you align yourself with that person, oh, you're agreeing with Hitler, oh, you're agreeing with the racist. And they pretend that's an argument. It's not an argument. Oh, you're agreeing with a racist there. No, I'm not. I'm stating reality and facts. Hey, black people, you're not as competitive in an academic sense as Asian people. It doesn't make me a racist for pointing that out. It just made me recognize, hey, look, the outputs that the black community is currently doing is not good enough to be competitive to make actual change in our social and economic outcomes as a community. Me calling that out is not me being anti-black. But this is how a lot of these Democrats and these liberals try to pretend that their arguments are. Because if you make an argument that even on a superficial level appears racist, they're going to call you a racist. Make it make sense. All you're doing is recognizing a pattern. Hey, I recognize a pattern that my people do this pattern of behavior, and I'm trying to tell my people, stop doing this pattern of behavior, or you can continue getting the same damn thing you've always been getting. How you expect change but voting for the same damn party you've been voting for 60 plus years? Make it make sense. But you want something different. You want change. But you want to continue voting for a Democrat. And then you wonder why no one respects your vote, why no one fight for your vote, why you're stuck in the same place. And my argument has always been that the black community, from a political sense, you beat the hell out of political power as much as you can. And if you want further progress, you have to start changing yourself socially. And that's outside of politics. You have to start investing in human capital. You have to actually start developing your own people. You have to actually start going out there and creating outcomes for yourself instead of being reliant on a political party to do everything for you. Oh, we want to invest in education. Okay, invest in your own education. Go read a book somewhere. Go spend the time. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want taxpayer money to do that. See, this is where you start losing. I want reparations. What for? What suffering you've been through? You're a privileged American. What suffering you've been through? And then black Americans try to separate. Oh, no, I face racism. I face discrimination. Yeah, so does everybody else. Some based on class, some based on gender, some based on sexuality. Everyone has a struggle. But black people out here on online trying to act like they got a bigger struggle than everyone else. And you're always going to lose that game. Everyone's struggle is different. But to pretend that you're the only ones that have something hard happen to you in your life, it's plain narcissism at this point. And I think this is why a lot of black people hold on to racism so much. Racism is a religion in the black community. I'm being honest. Go talk to a Democrat, a black Democrat, and let they say they're Christian. God says who could be against you with him or with God on your side, right? Mention racism to them, and they're going to tell you how racism held them back. I'm like, but you're Christian. I thought nothing should be able to stop you. But this is how they do their little fake outrage. And I think what really set me off in this video is the fact how openly, like, with no shame, the Democrats are able to open their mouth and virtue signal, moralize, trying to grandstand on us. Oh, we got no election deniers on our side. And then you find, I give you a 25-minute clip of all the Democrats denying elections from 2000. From 2000. I got receipts from 2000, 25 years back. Democrats have been denying elections when they lost. And then they're going to pretend they have the goal to virtue signal, and they wonder why no one trusts them. Then they wonder why they lost. I hope they keep going too. I hope they don't listen. I hope they don't listen to Anna Kasparian trying to give them direction to change and fix their circumstances. I hope they stay the same. But I digress. I'll let the video play out.
The problem. That's problematic because he said they needed to get the death penalty. You know what everybody leaves out of that conversation? Two things. The first is all we had was the information that was being presented to us on the news.
Exactly.
And at the time, all that information said that we got them. We got these kids. They ain't say nothing about rounding them up or how they rounded them up or this, that, and the third. They sat up there and they present. Go look at forget me. Go look at Ava DuVernay's Netflix movie. Go look at all the documentaries made about these guys. Now, here's the gag. At the time when Donald Trump did that, he was a registered Democrat. Not only that, he was a private citizen. Not only that, the district attorney, the assistant district attorney, the chief of police, the mayor, all of them happened to be Democrats. But that didn't stop anybody from dealing with the fact that they paraded them brothers up on that stage at the DNC in 2024 like, oh, Donald Trump's the problem. Oh, but I didn't hear any of them issue an apology for what they did to railroad those boys for a decade.
Exactly. That's the grandstanding I'm tired of from the Democratic Party. They're not virtuous people. They got to stop doing this little virtue signaling stuff. It's old now. It's tired. We all know you're doing this for a political show. Okay, stop it. You want to chastise Donald Trump? Look at him. He tried to incarcerate these boys. But that's when he was a member of your party. And the same party has the audacity to bring these people into the craziness. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. But this is the kind of manipulation, and this is how deceptive I believe Democrats are. And this is why I'm not very trusting of Democrats.
And some change. How does that make sense? So again, when you're told that orange man is bad, but you're not told that all these blue people who sat up there, who set these black and brown, because there were black people and brown people in that Central Park file. That's the only way I'm using that term, because I'm black people first. Everybody else holds your own nuts. But black and brown, when it comes to these 5 boys, you have no smoke for them. Matter of fact, one of the assistant prosecutor is still a huge donator, a huge donor to the Democratic National Convention, Democratic National Committee. So I'm trying to understand how that makes sense. And then, by the way, where's all your smoke for these corporations that were buying $1 million suites at the DNC? You care about black life so much. Why were you okay with them having abortion mobiles a block away from the Democratic National Convention? If we're going to talk about preserving life, if we're going to talk about racism, we're going to talk about systemic things, you have to talk about it regardless of who you like or who has the best PR or who says the things you don't like. That's my issue.
Hey, who's more likely to get an abortion? Black people. Black people, like this one. That's why I laugh about the systematic racism argument when black liberals sit here trying to lecture me about the system is against me, the system is against me. Black people disproportionately commit more abortions than any group of people on the United States soil. You 30% of the population, but black women commit 40% of the abortions. No one's talking about abortion is racist. Black lives matter, but you don't care about the most innocent and most defenseless life, the baby, right? Some of the most pro-abortionist people. Abortion is one of the number one reasons why the black population is stagnant right now. And the only reason I think the population is even growing in the black community is because of black immigration. That's the only reason the black community is growing at any time so far. In New York, a black baby is more likely to die than to be born. That's how pro-abortion black women are. So why aren't we calling liberal black women coons and sellouts? Because they're doing things that's actually hurting the interests of the black community. If my conservative butt got my way and we ban abortion, the black community will be the second largest racial group in America. You don't think that comes with a lot of political power? It does. But it doesn't benefit Democrats, though, because if a population gets at a certain size, it becomes too big to control. You're already seeing that with the Hispanic community. The Hispanic community is growing at a point where I think they're bigger than the black community. And you're already seeing that the Democrats are losing control over the Hispanic community. This is why they want you to keep you small and manageable. So abortion benefits who? A Democrat or black people? It benefits Democrats. It's an issue they can run on. They pretend that you need it, right? Democrats can only win with division. This is why they focus so much on racism. This is why they focus so much on victim Olympics. Who can portray themselves the biggest victim? Because when you start looking around, you start realizing, we get a lot of bad outcomes living in these blue states. It's hard to afford houses in these blue states. Hey, damn, homelessness is high in these blue states. Interesting. Damn, I live in Chicago and my property taxes are Brandon Johnson increased my property taxes so that way he can have enough money to take care of these illegals that cost us $982 million of our money to take care of people who didn't vote for him, who didn't donate to him, who don't even fund the government that he manages. But he's making me, a Chicago American citizen, pay more property taxes to fund taking care of illegals in this country. Why? The political gain. The probability illegal immigrants overwhelmingly will solidify Democrat control. Illegal immigrants justify increasing taxes. Hey, look, our budget is short. We need more money. Guilt trip you into donating more money, or use that as a moral reason for why they need to have more control, more budget, more power. Reward their friends. This is what Democrats do. And they pretend they're so much better, so much virtuous than you are. Meanwhile, they're a part of the problem. Meanwhile, they give you worse outcomes than the Republicans. Republicans will tell you, you can't do that. Democrats pretend they can do that. You vote for them thinking they can do that. And in reality, they spend 5 years, $24 billion on homelessness, and then homelessness increase in the state. Make it make sense. Make that make sense. No one can make that make sense to me. Democrats vehemently defend the Department of Education, but our education is worse since the creation of that institution. When Jimmy Carter created that in the 70s, we were the #1 education system in the world before the Department of Education was created at a federal level. After it was created at a federal level, when Obama came in, we ranked 24th. That means our education system was going down. The quality was going down. And we spend more money. We throw more money at the problem. We throw more money at education. And the education doesn't get better. Only 30% of 8th graders read at a grade level. Only 20% of our kids, our 8th graders, can do math at an efficient level. But who's defending the Department of Education? Democrats. Why? Because it justifies government spending. The Department of Education, its budget is $800 billion. $800 billion. Just to have one of the worst educations in the world. Just so kids can read at 30%. And then Republicans come in and say, hey, we need to fix this. We need to change this because we're wasting money. We're wasting $800 billion just to have these bad outcomes. You can't name me one metric that has improved since the Department of Education was created. Not one. A Democrat can't give you one. But they sure as hell know that we need to keep it going. No, we don't. And I see this nothing more than a glorified way of money laundering. Oh, I got some of my teacher friends that's running these nonprofits, these education nonprofits that's not actually fixing any problems. It's just managing the problem. This is the biggest problem. This is why I'm not a Democrat. This is why I'm so anti-Democrat. Because I literally believe these people use problems as a way to highlight themselves to manage it. And then they pretend, oh, it would have been a lot worse if I wasn't here managing things. It's worse now. What you talking about? In Chicago, kids can't even read or write over there. Chicago has some of the worst education system in the country. And I bet you they spend the most money in education on teachers' unions. And then when I point out the teachers' unions do not represent the best interests of the children, they only represent the best interests of themselves, Democrats get mad. But that's the truth. That's the facts. I'm just saying, I'll let him finish out and then I'll end off the live stream.
Y'all know for a fact Joe Biden was a racist. Always been a racist. And the only reason he was vice president under Obama is because they wanted to balance the ticket. So if you put a Negro in there, let's make sure we put somebody who was mentored by Strom Thurmond, who eulogized Robert Byrd, who was an exalted Cyclops in the Klan. Oh, you mean the guy who said that Barack Obama was a, what was the word? Oh, the first mainstream, clean, articulate black person? Excuse me?
Yo, only ignorant people can sit here and say, oh, Trump is racist, Trump is this, Trump is that, and not look at the Democrats and be like, yo, this is the party of racism. What you talking about? Democrat Party is still the party of racism. Look at DEI. What DEI is? Racism under new management. You can discriminate against white people to give black people jobs, and they call that, we're societal justice. They call it equity. They just rephrase the things, and they rephrase things in a softer way, but it's still discrimination. Craziness, bro.
That was okay. Oh, you can't get a Dunkin' Donut unless you got a little Indian in you. He said that. You're okay with that. You're okay with Hillary Clinton being a Goldwater girl, who was a card-carrying racist and segregationist, who also said, we need to bring them to heel. Them meaning you and me, because we were teenagers at the time when she said that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Maybe black Democrats are going to get mad for me saying this, but black Democrats are already at the heel of the Democratic Party. And anyone who's not at the heel of the Democratic Party gets called a coon, Uncle Tom, and sellout. That's why I don't get mad. That's why I don't get offended when black Democrats or black people who love Democrats, they call me names, because I know, oh yeah, you're just doing what your master want you to do. Now they gonna make the same claim. They say, oh, you run by Trump. No, Trump represents my best interest. Hey, mass deportation is going to benefit me. The economy is going to benefit me. More opportunities is going to benefit me. I just want the opportunity. I just want an environment where it makes it easier for me to help myself. That's all I want. Democrats, they push policies where they want to do things for you. But like a wise man once told me, if someone's responsible for you, they have authority over you. And this is the trade-off many people are not realizing when they vote Democrat. When you vote Democrat, when they push all these policies, oh, we're going to invest in this, we're going to government fund this, you're secretly giving up control. While in the Republican Party, it's more like they want to be hands off. Hey, we're going to give you the resources, but if you F up, that's your problem. You have freedom to fail, but you also have freedom to succeed. While with the Democratic Party, their policies are built up on, we'll allow you to succeed. We'll allow you to fail. Look at DEI. Look how DEI is raptured up. They want to focus on DEI, and that 94% of new jobs went to people of color. Isn't that strange? That sounds too, control. Because end of the day, Democrats want control over your life. And they'll give you freebies, but the freebie is technically a bribe. But most people don't realize that's the trade-off they're making. Because any day, life is about trade-offs. No one's going to sit here and tell me, Kitty, Republicans ain't perfect. Neither are the Democrats. The only way you can use that argument is if you can tell me the Democrats are a perfect party. That's the only way you can make all these arguments about Republicans. Republicans don't do this. Republicans don't do that. What about Democrats? Democrats ain't perfect. You're making a trade. I'm just aware of what trades I'm making when I vote Republican. Do for myself. Republicans want to create an environment where I can do for myself. But if I fail, it's my fault. While with the Democrats, when they do we got DEI, we got affirmative action, we're trying to help you. It coddles you. It weakens you. Because you got that position off of the backs of policy. You got into Harvard because of DEI. And then when we remove DEI, you don't qualify for Harvard anymore. And this is the reality. You can't stand on your own. So you use the Democratic policies to bolster you up. People who vote Democrat, people who are black Democrats, they see Democrats as a way of gaining political power, gaining leverage. And I talked about this in one of my videos. I think is the real debate about racism that we need to have is that a lot of black Democrats are people who want to use political power to enact their own version of privilege. It's not about equality. Black Democrats are not voting for Democrats because of equality. They just want power. And they mask their power. They mask their power hungry with, we want equality. We want to absolve racism. No, you don't. You want to push more racism. Because if you was against racism, you would eliminate DEI and be like, nah, if you're a poor kid, no matter your skin color, we'll give you an advantage. No, but you made it about race. So a rich black kid from a wealthy Nigerian family will get more of an advantage over a poor white kid just because he fit a skin color, just because he fit a racial quota. How is that not racism under new management? A Democrat can't debate that, though. You can't refute that, though. But you want to pretend that the Republican Party is a racist party. It's always have been and always will be the Democratic Party. They're the ones who focus on your race. They're the ones who focus on your sexuality. If you're gay and you decide you want to vote for the Republican Party, they'll call you a traitor. They'll call you an idiot. They'll lambast you. They'll mock you. They'll try to shame you because based on your identity, you're supposed to do a certain thing. What kind of dogmatic thinking is that? Oh, you're a slave. You're not supposed to do that. You're a black man. You're supposed to be a slave. Oh, you're a gay person. You're supposed to be a Democratic voter. They don't care about you as an individual. They care about what you represent as a collective. And that's how you always defined by the Democratic Party. That's how you always are defined by the left. About what group of the collective you're part of, and you have to fall in line. This is why Democrats always vote in lockstep with each other. But I'm done with my rant. Let's finish out the segment.
And she was the first lady. So is racism a problem, or is racism with the right amount of PR a problem? And the wrong type of PR not a problem? I'm trying to understand. When are you not activated? When is it just, hey, this is wrong and it needs to be wrong? Oh, but he apologized for it. Yeah, but his apology don't do nothing for the 30 plus years of racist policies that have affected us. Then again, when you got somebody creating a First Step Act, getting these people out for nonviolent drug offenses, you got Kim Kardashian. And I can't stand Kim Kardashian neither. You got her advocating for more black people than I see black people are advocating for black people. Not making a bunch of noise on the Senate floor. Not pontificating on somebody's podcast. Literally taking their time, money, energy, and efforts and putting it out there. So I'm trying to understand, when is it enough that we hold everybody accountable, not the people they just tell you to like?
Exactly.
When do you do that exam? Oh, you won't, because then we go back to great power and great culpability. Because again, you only want to be responsible for the things that make you happy. Was Oprah dumb?
And there you go. There you go. All billionaires are bad unless they're billionaires that donate to the Democratic Party. Oh, you can't do nothing in this country. Oprah, Obama, and the Obamas were worth almost what? $1.5 billion. But they're telling you, black person, that you can't do nothing in this country, that the system's holding you back. But how they became successful, all these black Democrats, how they became successful. You got teachers being discriminated against based on the color of their skin. Oh, they're not facing racism. You don't want to call that out as racism. You say, oh, black people can't be racist. Racism can't happen to white people. Minnesota offers a scholarship for aspiring teachers of color. One of the qualifications is you can't be white. That's racism. No. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I side with people who are right, and I side against people who are wrong. But Democrats, because they know, hey, white people don't really benefit us, and also white liberals are self-hating. Like, I believe I saw a stat where they say white people are the only racial group where they have a negative connotation against their own race. Make it make sense. So what black liberals pretend that I am, right? Oh, Kenny, you're a black conservative. You're a coon. Uncle Tom sellout. You hate your own race. They'll tell me all this crap. But they're literally relying on white people hating themselves to gain political power. Make it make sense. So are white people coons for voting along with you, black man, black Democrat, black woman? Y'all just finished lambasting white women for the fact that a majority of them voted for Donald Trump. Right? You put commercials out there telling white women to lie to their husbands about who they voted for, and then they hit you with the Uno reverse card. In reality, they lied to you about who they were voting for, and they voted for Trump. When if you look at the stats, it was technically married women voted for Trump, and a lot of single women. Still, the majority of single women voted for Kamala Harris. But a large minority of single women voted for Trump. The majority of married women voted for Trump. Because married women have more priorities than just themselves. They have a family. They think about the interests of their family as well. Single women, you have the luxury to only think about yourself. But I don't understand, when you look at the outcomes produced by the Democratic Party, it don't benefit anyone. And it only benefits a small collective of people, because these people, this is why they have the victim Olympics. They want to be the people managing stuff, because that's where the power is in the Democratic Party. While in the Republican Party, it's more based on merit. Hey, like if you're influential, hey, if you're successful, those are things done by your own merits. Those things are decided by your actions, your behaviors, your choices. The Democratic Party only want to judge people based on their identity. Oh, yeah, there's too many white people in this field, so we have to discriminate against white people to even it out. Who are you? Like, who are Democrats to decide too much white people are in a field? They don't do that with the NBA. The NBA is 78% black. How is only 13% of the population representing an industry 78%? Make it make sense. You don't hear them call for DEI for that, because it's always about and always will be politics. It's politics. If DEI was such a good idea, why don't you apply DEI everywhere? Hey, the NBA, 78% black. That's not representative of America. We need to start discriminating against black players and start incorporating more white players, more Asian players, more Hispanic players to be diverse. Oh, now you want to care about meritocracy when it comes to sports, because it benefits an ethnic group that's under your political flag. And I say this, and I'll say this, and I'll end off my live stream. The day the black people leave the Democratic Party, the day majority of black people leave the Democratic Party, Democrats will be overtly racist again. Right now, they're covertly racist, right? They assume you can't do nothing. They assume that black people can't have voter IDs. They're just covertly racist. But the day majority of black people become Republicans or vote Republican, you're going to see racism from the Democratic Party more overtly. You already saw a little bit of it when they found out majority of Hispanic men voted for Donald Trump. The first thing that came out of the Democrats' mouth, I hope they all get deported. And then myself is like, look how racist these people are. They believe that if a Hispanic man that was able to vote in the election was going to get deported when Donald Trump was going to deport only illegals. Make it make sense. Leftists believe that if you're an Hispanic man, majority of you guys are illegals. Make it make sense. When illegals are the minority in this country, the minority in the Hispanic community. They may be a sizable minority, but it's still a minority. Most Hispanics that are here are legal migrants and U.S. citizens. But oh my God, Hispanic man voted for Donald Trump. I hope y'all get deported, says the ignorant, racist Democrat. Make it make sense. But they want to sit here virtual signaling, pretending that, oh no, racism comes for the Republicans. Republicans. Like some boogeyman. I'm done. Honestly, I think the Democrats embarrassed themselves, honestly. Virtue signaling on the House floor. Speaker Johnson still become the Speaker of the House. And hey, that's all I have to say. I think that's all I had to say on this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a good, happy New Year. I'll catch you guys on the next week. It's been a slow news week, but hey, we still find a way to make it happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys found the live stream insightful. And don't forget to like on the way out. It will greatly appreciate it. It will greatly help out the channel. And I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Peace.